Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't see you there. You just caught me doing my own thing. You know, checking my March Madness bracket, taking a real deep whiff of a candle I got lying around. Typical normal human American male things. Anyway, like I said, I'm checking my March Madness bracket. Except it's not for that stupid college basketball sport or whatever they call it. It's for Hollywood agencies. Yeah, that's right. I made a bracket for Hollywood agencies. We got the classics. We got Creative Arts Agency, William Morris Endeavor, United Talent Agency, CM Partners. But as you can see, I ran out of places and things to put inside the bracket. So I had to expand a little bit. I added award shows, Grammys, Academy Awards, Emmys, Golden Globes, and then of course, I also had to add more awards. The Tonys, the SAG Awards, the Kids' Choice Awards, the Guy Awards, the Game Awards, the AVN Awards, which Annie Awards, and all the Guild Awards, Directors Guild, Producers Guild, Writers Guild, all them Guild Awards. Now, if you take a close look at the bracket, you see that Creative Arts Agency ultimately won over WME, and then UTA beat ICM Partners. And then after that, we had Grammys lose to the Academy Awards, and the Emmys beat the Golden Globes, so that the Academy Awards and the Emmys could take on each other. The Emmys go on to the Final Four. Creative Artists Agency beats UTA, so they can go on to the Final Four. Over on the other side of the bracket, you see the Tonys lost to SAG because Screen Actors Guild is way better than Tonys. And then the Kids' Choice Awards lost to the Guys' Choice Awards because adult men are bigger than kids. They always win, no matter what. Then you got the Game Awards and the AVN Awards, and trust me, who loves AVN? Don't Google it. Just look it up on incognito. Then Annie Awards lost to the Guild Awards because there's so many guilds. The guilds just take down the Annie Awards like that. Boom, boom, boom. So you got the AVN Awards taking on the Guild Awards, only for the Guild Awards to win because the guilds are better than porn. That's what AVN stands for. And then Guys' Choice Awards loses to SAG because, I mean, come on. SAG, right? Anyway, the Final Four now consists of SAG, Creative Arts Agency, Emmys, and the Guilds. Creative Arts Agency gets taken down by the Emmys. And then the Guild Awards beat all of SAG because actors are weaker than the Guild. All right, we're moving on into the last round. Emmys versus the Guild Awards. And it was a nail biter. It went right down to the wire. Just kidding. The Emmys are always better than Guilds. Suck it, Guilds. No one's better than the Emmys. You hear that, Emmys? You're going to take on me, and I'm going to be the next host of these Emmys. Okay, bye.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the grab bag news you didn't know about. That's right, baby. It's a grab bag. Didn't have enough for one episode, so I had to bring multiple stories into this bad boy. First up, we got March Madness. This is the first season that players can be paid for their name, image, and likeness, which is NIL, which is the acronym you've been seeing all over this type of deal. Usually, they would give scholarships and stipends, and those were thought to be just as good as endorsements. Students would come to school for free and play, and in exchange, they would get, I think, something like between $50 and $200. I had a scholarship, wasn't sports, but I had a scholarship where I was paid to work in the library, so that was my stipend and everything. Anyway, 2019's Fair to Play Act in California overruled all previous rulings, and now Hollywood agencies are jumping at the chance to get onto this new talent. It took 2 years, but now we're here. Creative Arts Agency signed Alabama QB Bryce Young, who has garnered almost $1 million in sponsors, and probably even more than that. CAA also signed the Duke basketball player Paolo Branchero. William Morris Endeavor signed Olivia Doon of Louisiana State, I believe that's what LSU stands for. Agencies have to remain cautious. They must, because they can't treat these deals in the same vein as the pro athletes because there's a lot of laws that still aren't passed in a lot of states. And also, they're young kids and they're going to do stupid things. And quite frankly, they might not even pan out to be the good players that they're projected to be. 28 states have officially passed laws for the NIL. It's going to effect at least in 1 to 4 years. It varies across states. I know it's passed in Georgia, but in Tennessee, I think it goes into effect next year at some point. It's different for each state. Critics say it's going to ruin the purity of the game, and I do understand where they're coming from, but of course these kids are putting essentially their names and their lives on the line, and they might as well just, and they're not fighting wars or anything, they're just playing basketball, playing football, running track, doing gymnastics, golf, hockey, lacrosse, soccer, all the sports, but they need to be able to have some type of living made if they're going to be, especially if they're going to be playing on ESPN and ABC and just have a bunch of, baseball cap wearing white dudes yelling at them because they played well or they played poor. And then next up, finally, we have the Grammys. Grammys happened this past week. Not a lot happened. It was, again, kind of a boring thing. Actually, I think it was worse than last year. But by worse, I mean, in terms of, having a crowd there. I just think they could have had a smaller crowd. But you treat it like it's a thing. You treat it like it's a concert. So they moved to Vegas from LA because it was originally slated for January 31st, only to be pushed due to the growing Omicron surge over there in California. The original venue was going to be at Crypto.com Arena, and it was going to have a full audience. Can you imagine a giant bowl, of an audience facing down, looking at the field? That would have been incredible. Also, Crypto.com Arena is a stupid name. The new venue is the MGM Grand, and which also held the Latin Grammys a couple of months prior. The setup looked really aesthetically pleasing. I think they really pulled off the look of what they wanted at Crypto.com or at the arena. They had stands in the back for an audience to watch, like, as if they're at a concert, and then on the floor they had the people winning, the artists winning the awards, as well as regular people, I guess, who were there for some reason. Like, a lot of people just were there, just sitting. It felt like they were seat fillers, but they really weren't. And then on top of that, they had a rooftop, literally on top of that, they had a rooftop where they would play the smaller acts, the people and bands and artists you probably didn't know. They were on the roof with a crowd of varying sizes, which I assumed they said to the producers said, hey, if you're a country fan or a bluegrass fan, why don't you watch this next band? Come up front. And then the other people were able to go back. Whatever. Anyway, 86 awards were split between 2 shows, and they're still uploading some of the videos to YouTube, and not to mention there's none of the performances. I can't find this Justin Bieber Peaches performance anywhere. I wanted to rewatch the Billie Eilish one, couldn't find it at all. I wanted to see the John Baptiste one, the Freedom performance. I can't even find a legal clip of it. Rock, in terms of genre, was looked over again. Not Chris Rock. He wasn't at this one. Foo Fighters were the only band to represent the entire genre, and this has kind of been something that the Grammys has been fighting against in its past couple of years. They've been criticized for being slower to recognize non-rock and younger acts as well as women, so they have been kind of turning heel in the past couple of years to really stick out and say, okay, we recognize these people of color, we recognize women, but it has not been good. You'll recall when they introduced the urban category, the best urban album, and that did not pan out because you're still missing the likes of Beyonce, you're still missing the likes of Kendrick Lamar and Drake and Tyler the Creator. Those people you should really be caring about versus they're not winning the big best album of the years. They're winning best urban album because you have to make that for them. Rock elements are still prevalent in songs because that's where music basically came from, rock and roll. And Billie's Happier Than Ever performance featured a great band and great sound as well. Olivia Rodrigo's Good For You did really well with a band and everything. Nas had a great performance, and he had a live, section behind him. It was fantastic. The New York Times Popcast podcast really covers the show in detail. They did not talk about some of the stuff I talked about, but you should definitely check them out. And speaking of things you should check out, you should subscribe and watch all of our other videos, of course, you can head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where I swear on my life, things are better. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And God, that is a good handle.